Can you imagine a car powered by 4 aircraft engines designed to dominate the quarter mile? It sounds like pure madness, yet that's exactly what the Quadal was. Built in the 1960s in the United States, this outrageous machine earned a place in the Guinness World Records as the most powerful piston engine car ever created. Despite never actually running under its own power, Quadal became one of the most legendary and extreme automotive projects of all time. It represents an era when builders pushed engineering to its absolute limits, often going far beyond what was practical or even possible. The story begins with Jim Lytle, a drag racing innovator known for creating wild machines powered by aircraft engines. During the early 1960s, Lytle was already experimenting with high-powered dragsters when a friend showed him a sketch of a car featuring 4 engines mounted side by side. Instead of dismissing the idea as impossible, Lytle embraced it. At the time, surplus aircraft engines from World War II were surprisingly cheap, making the concept financially feasible, at least in theory. What started as a bold idea quickly turned into one of the most ambitious drag racing projects ever attempted. To bring his vision to life, Lytle acquired 4 Allison V12 engines, originally used in War World II fighter planes. Each engine had a displacement of around 28 liters and produced roughly 3,000 horsepower in stock form. Combined, they were expected to deliver an astonishing 12,000 horsepower and around 1,000 pound-foot of torque. These numbers were almost unimaginable for a car in the 1960s, and even today, they remain extraordinary. The Quadal was not just powerful, it was on an entirely different level compared to anything else on wheels. The chassis of the car was based on a heavily modified Fiat Topolino, a tiny Italian city car that served as the unlikely foundation for this monstrous build. The contrast between the original vehicle and the final creation could not have been more extreme. The car featured an 8-wheel layout and was designed with the idea of potentially driving all wheels. Various companies supported the project. Cal Automotive provided a fiberglass body, Moon supplied fuel tanks, and Champion contributed specialized racing components. The result was a machine that looked as wild as it sounded. One of the most insane aspects of the Quadal was its exhaust system. With 4 massive V12 engines, the car featured a total of 96 exhaust pipes. Just imagining the sound of all 4 engines running simultaneously gives an idea of how dramatic this machine would have been. The car was intended for drag racing, where its extreme power could theoretically deliver unbelievable acceleration over a short distance. Lytle's goal was simple: build the ultimate quarter-mile monster. However, the biggest challenge was not the engines, it was everything else. Transmitting such enormous power to the wheels required completely custom-built gearboxes and clutch systems. Lytle discovered that these components would cost around $5,000, an enormous amount at the time. Considering he earned only about $110 per week, the cost was simply impossible to cover. Ironically, the engines, the most extreme part of the build, were the easiest and cheapest components to acquire. By the time the project stalled, Lytle had invested around $2,000 into the build, largely thanks to sponsor support. With no way to complete the drivetrain, the Quadal remained unfinished. In 1965, Lytle made the difficult decision to sell the car along with its custom trailer for about $4,000. The buyer, stuntman Tex Collins, intended to finish the project, but his untimely death brought those plans to an end as well. Over the following decades, the Quadal changed hands multiple times. Along the way, its original Allison engines were removed and sold separately, leaving the car incomplete. Eventually, it was acquired by collector Mike Guffey, who undertook a restoration project. Due to the extremely high cost, by then, a single Allison engine could cost around $3,000. He chose to install mock engines instead of real ones. The car was restored mainly as a showpiece rather than a functional vehicle. Today, the Quadal is considered one of the most outrageous machines ever built. It is often described as the wildest dragster that never ran, a title that perfectly captures its legacy. Even though it never completed a single run under its own power, its concept and specifications continue to fascinate automotive enthusiasts around the world. It stands as a reminder of just how far imagination can go when limits are ignored. Estimating the value of the Quadal today is difficult due to its one-of-a-kind status. Unique custom cars from the 1960s can easily reach hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a project with such a legendary story could be worth even more. However, its true value goes beyond money. The Quadal represents a time when builders dared to dream big, sometimes too big, and created machines that still capture the imagination decades later. It remains one of the most extreme what-if stories in automotive history.